keep them in your home or love to see them in theirs. These are the creatures that bring us all together. Reptiles.
We're going to be delving into the experiences of reptile lovers from around the block and around the world. This is the Reptile Talk Podcast.
What is going on, everybody? This is Jeremy from Brass Fan Reptiles.
And I'm Robin. I'm keeping it real.
And if you're listening to the audio only, just do me a favor and go to YouTube for the intro. and my laughter will make sense.
I have to do something to get you to laugh at the beginning of each show.
You succeed pretty much every time. Pretty much every time. It's very rare that I don't end up laughing at whatever shenanigan is going on. And what kills it for me is, like, sometimes I can see it in the little 1x1 square at the bottom of the bottom.
Oh no, I waited this time.
And I'm trying to, like, squint my eyes and, like, what is he got going on over there? And then you pop up here on the screen and I'm just like
oh, Rob, this is YouTube. Be appropriate.
Yeah. No, I'm like, no, come on, bring on the antics, bro.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Man.
Oh no. Oh no. So, welcome to another episode of Reptile Talk Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't, make sure you check us out on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter, on all the places.
Everywhere. Go look everywhere. I just caught so off guard and I'm so happy about it. It's been a pretty good day, so I'm here for it all. I'm here for it all. Lord, how are you doing, Rob? How are things as we kick this off?
It was like 70 degrees out today. It was it's February. We're like the middle of February right now, and it was 70 degrees out in North Carolina today and sunny. It was so nice out.
Yes.
I have not found my February snake yet, so I'm not thrilled about that, but gonna still try to make it happen.
Oof, you got time and a few warm days within the next few weeks. So
that's what I was looking at. I've been eyeing the weekly forecast and trying to game it out so that I could get the best. I've found queen snakes and northern water snakes out and down to like 44 degrees, 42 Damn. Degrees. If it's sunny out, like 44 degrees, they're out. So almost 70 is plenty warm enough for stuff to be out. So
yeah,
just got to keep
trying. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. I'm here for it, dude. It's definitely nice to have a 70-degree day after two back-to-back winter storms here in the Carolinas that have certainly made us reminisce of days of old.
I was now reminiscing.
Being in
PTSD flashbacks. I was like, no.
That is a way to reminisce. It's not a pleasant way.
Power's got to go out. We're going to have to put giant heat fans in.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh man. No, it was definitely nice to have the tides change a little bit for sure. Mm-hmm. I found, ironically, not on one of the warm days, that we have a resident anole here at the house.
Let's go.
Yeah. So periodically this summer and into fall, like, I noticed little like lizard poops by the outside windowsill, and I was like, okay, it's probably like a little 5-line skink or something that's just kind of walking around the crevice looking for bugs. And I was outside talking with Mark, and something moved slightly and caught my attention, and it was a little green anole just chilling. Very dark brown. Very sad.
And I was like, a crumb of warmth.
Exactly. Dude, so I grabbed it, and it slowly became lighter and lighter and lighter, and I was like, I have to put you back in the cold now. I'm sorry, But I was like, you're the one that's shitting on my windowsill, man. Get out of here.
If you're cold, they're cold. Bring them in, Jeremy. Okay.
Yeah. Right, exactly. We do have some new planted fish tanks here, and there's some driftwood that comes out of the tank. So I could have put him on a piece of driftwood and let him exist there.
Then he could have pooped on the inside of your house too.
Yeah, great. Yeah, wonderful. But I'm always excited to see little lizards previously coming from the land of no lizards. Every lizard is exciting.
Every lizard is exciting. I will say that.
So that was cool. Cool. Before we jump into all of the fun tonight, of course, need to handle some business first. And that is a shout out to all of our sponsors for the podcast.
Yeah.
Of course, our longtime sponsor, Black Box Cages. Massive shout out to them. Go check them out, blackboxcages.com. Get yourself a new cage, a new rack, always taking it up in the safety realm as far as caging and thermostats and plugs and all the wonderful technological things that they bring to the table. So go check them out, blackboxcages.com, and you can use code Reptile Talk at checkout and save some money on your order, because who doesn't want to save money in today's crazy expensive world? Also, we've got Raging Rodents out in Liberty, North Carolina. Massive shout out to Raging Rodents. If you are in the Carolinas or Virginia or maybe even Georgia or wherever we decide to drive for crazy long distances, and you want some legitimately fantastic rodents, all produced here in the U.S. No shade or shots to anybody else that's producing rodents or has rodents for sale, but coming from other places is it's a risk. Anyway, 100% domestically produced rodents. Go check them out on Facebook, Raging Rodents Liberty, and place your order today. Bulk quantities are available as well. Ted would be really mad if I didn't say that, because there's freezers full.
Yeah.
And then last but certainly not least, kingsnake.com. Massive shout out to the kingsnake.com team. Go check them out right now. Stop what you're doing. Just open up another tab and type in kingsnake.com. Don't click off this. Just stop what you're doing right now. I'll give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Great. Kingsnake.com. Go check them out. The new beta version of the mobile-friendly classifieds is available right now, so you can go check that out as Kingsnake steps into their new era of being in the 21st century. Better late than never, of course. And you can still access all of the awesome history that Kingsnake has to offer if you're interested in kind of understanding some of the stories of modern herpetoculture and how we've gotten to where we are. Those forums still exist. Go check them out, kingsnake.com. Massive shout out to John and the entire team. And you can go check out one of our previous episodes with John and I. And just hearing about Kingsnake. We're going to have him on again in the near future to discuss more of the awesome things that Kingsnake is doing. Bam! That takes care of that. Of course, all the links in the description below for each one of those places. Go check them out. And now, back to regularly scheduled programming. I'm stoked about today's episode. So let's get Alex in here to talk about some of these amazing productions that have happened. Let's go. Bam. What's up, dude?
What up?
How you doing, man?
I'm good. It's good to be here. So thanks, guys.
Hell yeah.
So
Yeah.
go ahead, Rob.
No, I was just gonna say a little bit of that, a little bit of field herping, a little bit of maybe some arachnids and stuff. So yeah, I'm
the unseen side of Alex's arachnids to be determined. Just gotta. I'm gonna. That'll be another Instagram account someday if the spiders take off. But
hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Focusing on the Sailfin Dragon wonder that has been going on. What drew you into Sailfin Dragons, and what's gotten you to where you're at right now with them?
I mean, gosh, I'm probably repeating myself for other episodes I've been asked this on. And for me, it was just like I was procrastinating. I remember like it's like a core memory. Like how you don't remember anything from like middle school or elementary, but you occasionally have those memories that stick with you. This memory stuck, and was because I had just gotten my first pet corn snakes. And so we had to write an essay on the hobby of something. Guy's name was Mr. Greenberg. I remember he was a big Rush fan because he knew I liked Rush. But the what's it called? I did my paper, The Hobby of Keeping a Snake, which at the time I was in sixth grade. So I should have just reworded it into the reptile hobby. But I remember that day, like we were supposed to be researching in the computer lab, and I opened Reptiles magazine, but at the time it was still the reptilechannel.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't, I mean, yeah, this would have been 2013, and just bam, right there on the the home screen, they had just published Scott Corning's Sailfin Dragon care sheet. So, you know, I'm 13, I'm getting excited about reptiles, and this first thing I see is this purple, gold, blue lizard. It's probably like the most famous photo of his lizard. The lizard name was Joxer, and it's like the one where it's down on the tree and you see the tail come up and around. It's stolen by people and reposted, but that photo of his exact lizard, I'll never forget it. And there I went down the rabbit hole of I want to work with that. I want to learn about it. Being in middle school, it wasn't that easy to keep, a 3-foot lizard at the time. And through my research, just on reading that article and finding other large, semi-aquatic Agamid lizards, Scott had Australian water dragons at his website, which were still out of my price range, as a kid only getting $3 a week of allowance. But then I found the Chinese water dragons, which were $5 at the time, and that's what I started with. But finally, about 3 years ago, I had an opportunity to acquire some Philippine Sailfins, and I haven't looked back since. And so last year was the first year that I finally sort of lined up getting them to breed. And it was a little too good. I want to say I hatched 6 clutches last year from 3 different females. So, not a bad way to end 2025 with literally every month from July till December. There was at least 1 clutch hatching. And I'm still,
small flex.
Yeah.
No big deal.
I mean, hey, for all I know, I got lucky. I'm maybe a little too analytical with the way I breed things. So, this might be a controversial opinion. Hopefully I'm not going to ruffle any feathers, but I like to at least know that I can breed something with different individuals of a species and do it back to back, or at least every other year, right? So, like, for example, my first year breeding water dragons, 2018, very likely could have gotten lucky because I was hatching eggs at a weird time of year. Tried again 2019. Okay, I got it. 2020 was my best year. I took 2021 off. 2022 and 2023, I got eggs. I just had some incubation issues, but the breeding patterns were the same. And then 2024, 2025, I've already hatched them this year, and I still have 7 clutches of water dragon eggs in my incubator from this year. So I feel pretty confident about the Chinese water dragons, but with the Sailfins, it was a females that had cycled eggs for me, but it was truly a matter of trying to time those cycles. And this year will be my real test because now I have a different male. So I do have a little bit of the advantage that the girls are, proven breeders.
Doing their thing.
But I think this is going to be my real test because he's also a younger male. So the previous male was loaned from my good friend Kristen because I wanted his genetics. I'm sort of a bit of a purist Nazi, to be quite frank. It's with Philippine Sailfins, it's really that species has not been imported legally since 1992, and so or 94. Damn. 92 was like the Dallas Zoo's first breed, or 89 was the first breeding, and 92 is when there's a lot of dates in the history of Sailfins. Everybody keeps telling me I need to write a book on this, but I
at least write them down.
Yeah, I have like a freaking I can see my notebook right over there. I mean, it's just chock full of Sailfin history and stuff. But the point is that this year, hopefully, I can replicate my success. Personally, I wouldn't mind if I had a little bit of less clutches because I don't know, you guys that keep snakes have it so easy. You're like, 20 babies, here's a convenient drawer system.
Yeah.
20
Lizard's
baby,
slightly different.
yeah. You know, I did make sort of I don't know if you remember like the old school Freedom Breeder, like those bearded dragon racks.
Yes, I
Okay,
was
yeah.
just
So-
gonna say that. Yeah.
So I took a baker's rack that fits like 25-gallon tubs, and I run the linear fluorescence over the top. And so
Oh,
I've
cool.
got, you know, in a sense, like an 8-tub rack baby nursery. And you know, you can raise the babies in groups, but it's still, you know, I mean, it's 6-7 feet tall, so it takes up a lot of room for, you know, 8 tub. Gosh dang it! I was like, I caught myself. Oh, I'm never gonna hear the end of that for the people. I walked right into that, but yeah, I wouldn't mind having less clutches just because you know, I don't do reptiles as a full-time gig. It's a side hobby. I've got a job, I've got bills to pay. I've also got to do something other than just being a hermit caring for lizards and everything all day. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of, I mean, it was great, you know, childhood dream to honestly, you know, just see. I remember that first clutch was for me like probably one of my biggest accomplishments I personally ever felt. Like I was there on day 90 and I saw the egg dent in, and then I watched the baby poke its head out, and then I stayed up all night watching it crawl out.
Doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, that, you know, because I didn't know. So some people say they go 85 days, some people say they go 115 days, and with the way I had set up my incubator was similar to how Casey Schultz over at Zion Hill Exotics had set hers up, and all of her eggs had hatched at around 90 days, and sure enough, day 90, that little Phillipene Sailfin poked its nose out, and yeah, that image is like permanently engraved in my head, and like just the nose popping out, and it just, you see like the little bubble as they exhale the like the mucus, and then they're now filling their lungs with oxygen. You're like, oh my goodness, like it is the coolest thing in the world.
Dude.
And for me especially, like those babies came from a female that I'm working with that I believe is a F2 from Bion Terrarium Center. So I think as far as that captive lineage goes, because it's from Ukraine, that may have been, I don't want to, you know, be the one to claim it, but to my knowledge, that may have been the first time that lineage of Hydrosaurus pustullatus had ever been bred in the United States. So, because I don't know anybody who has, well, I know one person who has stock from Bion, and that female had not bred. So,
damn,
who knows though? But if there's somebody out there that, you know, there's ads on Fauna that go back to when Kevin Rousman was bringing them in as sort of the broker for Bion. And I'm sure they came into the States, but what happened to those animals? And
yeah,
Right.
I don't know. Like I said, that's the thing is, you know, I sometimes forget about it, or, you know, at least in our circles here, that we're just very vocal about keeping reptiles and what we work with. But sometimes I look back and I keep a spreadsheet of all my customer records, and I'm like, dang, like it's like 150 people that have bought water dragons that don't have a water dragon Instagram account. You know, they just genuinely, you know what I mean? Like it's weird when you really sit down and think about it. Like, so that's where they all go, you know? Because some people ask that question, well, where do all the captive bred animals go? But genuinely, there are just a lot of people that want to have pets. You know, not everybody makes Instagram accounts for their dogs, and how many people do you know have dogs? And
Right.
But I think about that too. I mean, I still got my first pet corn snakes. Like, a few people even know I have them. They're going to be 20 this year. So, you know, it's like, you know, I'm not posting photos. Maybe I should post some good photos on. They're really nice classics. They probably look like the ones you guys have in Carolinas, actually. But just normals with the, not like Okatee orange, but, you know, like sort of the classic. Yeah, that's the morph, I guess, the normal. So, yeah, I don't know. It's cool. And I get so excited. Sorry if I'm just going on a tangent.
No, dude, that's what it's all about, man. There's like we've talked a handful of times before. Rob and I would like finally getting that species that you've been after for so long that has just captivated your attention, and then owning it is like that first marker, and then getting to that point when you're like, okay, I'm ready to go in for this, try to reproduce them, and you have that moment and it's successful. Like, it doesn't get better than that, you know, and to the point of like getting ingrained in your brain, like that's what it's all about.
Exactly. And I mean, dude, like the sailfins, I mean, there's so many people that talk about like how egg infertility and egg viability is very low. So
Yeah.
I had always wondered if it was a case of timing the reproductive cycles. It seems like, again, not trying to sound controversial or like I'm on a high horse here, but a lot of facilities that have bred sailfins seem to kind of just keep a pair together year round all the time. And then like once in a while, like, hey, look, we hatched babies. And then like 3 to 5 years go by. And hey, look, we hatched babies. And I keep pretty much all of my females by themselves, and I just watch their body condition.
Yep.
And I do wonder if that played a role where, you know, not trying to anthropomorphize, like, animals just get bored of each other. Is there a, you know, I know, like, for example, with cats, and this is going back to when I took animal physiology in high school, but to my knowledge, cats are induced ovulators. So in order for the female cat to want to make kittens, she has to be bred, right? So it's like, you know, maybe I'm just throwing crap at the wall right now and seeing what sticks, but is there some type of induced ovulation reaction where keeping a male separate from a female, feeding her really well to see her start to swell up and grow follicles, and then her not living with a male, copulating with that male, and then removing the male triggers her to go full with the ovulation? Because my hatch rates were pretty solid on, I want to say on average, I had like 90% hatch rates. My one best breeding female that laid 6 clutches last year, she had 0 slugs from those 5 clutches that were good. She laid 1 infertile clutch, which sort of let me time her next window. And after her locks, bam, it was 3 out of 3 eggs, 4 out of 4 eggs, 5 out of 5, 5 out of 5. And I'm waiting on the 4 more from November that she laid last year to hatch at the end of this month. So that's pretty cool. But there's definitely there was heartbreak at the start, because I did get a clutch before my first successful reproduction of the species that went full term, and then the eggs dimpled and they had malformed offspring in them. So I think I went a little too wet on the incubation, but after I dried it out, obviously the next clutches and the next clutch and the next clutch, they all hatch. So hopefully we'll keep having that success. But, you know, for all I know, like I said, I could have just gotten lucky. I don't want to talk like I know what I'm doing. You know, I had one good year, hopefully out of multiple to go. But like I said, sort of comparing this year with my Chinese water dragon, you know, experience, is that I spent a lot of time trying to refine the water dragons, and now I'm kind of just going mad scientist with the water dragons because I have so many. So I've got eggs literally that have hatched in my closet, and they've experienced almost 10-degree temperature swings, 14-degree temperature swings, and they're huge bust babies, because I'm just like, I have too many of these, like, we're just gonna throw them in here and see what happens. There's literally a clutch of eggs on top of my fridge right now sitting at around 76, so we'll see.
I think that people in the reptile hobby a lot get really, really caught up on the care sheet said to keep it at 84 degrees. So I keep it at 84 degrees, and people forget that these are creatures that live outside. Like, it might not be outside where you live, but it is outside someplace, and there is no place on the planet that is the same temperature all the time.
Yeah, I've read stuff on water dragon nests, and that they bury their eggs relatively shallow, you know, 4 to 5, 6 inches in the wild. I don't know why in captivity, every time I give, like, at least with the water dragons and the sailfins, I guess, like a nest box, if they have kicked dirt out and it's 8 inches, they still dig to the bottom. If I refill it and it's 14 to 16 inches, they still dig to the bottom. So I don't know if that's a byproduct of captivity. I'd really love to figure out, like, how deep they're burying their eggs in the wild, but I have scoured a ton of resources online. I've never heard of anybody finding a wild Hydrosaurus nest. So that's beyond me, unfortunately. But it'd be cool to know and, you know, compare. So
it looks like you got your next field herping trip planned out then.
There you go.
Oh yeah. going back to Indonesia. That's true. Yeah. Gotta get my ass back out there. And I have so many questions, even just seeing them out there and watching them do their thing. But I think the goal would be, like, to ideally see all of them in the wild. That would be really cool. You know? the Philippines, northern, southern, and then I've crossed out the 2 from Sulawesi. Arguably 3. There's probably like 6 species on that. I don't know based off of morphology, but I'm not a taxonomist, so I'm not going to argue. I mean, I'm still pissed about the whole rat snake thing, so I'm probably not the person. I know here's a little bit of a side tangent. You guys will probably get a kick out of this. So in college, the professor I studied under, so I got my degree in natural resources, but my professor who oversaw the Herpetology Society, he is the guy that split like the Amazonian puffing snakes and the Spheloides and Pyronax. Yeah, so he split that up with the genetic work. And so he's a taxonomist. He's described he's more of a pit viper guy, but he's done a lot. And there was I had my butt handed to me, but I was debating the morphology, if you will, of the North American rat snakes and the ontogenic color changes. And he's like, yeah, but genetically they're the same. And here's the paper.
I don't give a shit, bro.
I know. And like literally, I mean, this went on for like 20 minutes after a meeting. Meanwhile, my friends are standing there like, you had the balls to stand up and say that. It's like, he's literally a taxonomist and you don't have a degree. I said, I don't care. I was really pissed about it.
I am still pissed about it.
It was so much better. Everglades rat, yellow rat, black, like gray rat, it's all gone. Like they literally gave it the taxonomic infinity gauntlet and all faded away. Like it really bothers me. And it still bothers me.
It bothers a lot of people.
It really does.
Good reason.
It's probably a good reason why I should not be the one messing with Hydrosaurus taxonomy, because somebody's going to be like, actually, all of the ones from Indonesia are the same genetically, and that person better hope I don't have a death note. So
immediately.
Man.
Yeah. I gotta go back there though.
The same thing with the scrubs. They're like, oh yeah, Barnecks and Southerns and Wamina, the Jayapura type. They're all the same. They're all the same species, guys. It's all the same species. I'm like, are you dense? Are you dense or dumb? Which one is it? Because no, absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the debate about taxonomy, though. Is like the idea of species concepts. Well, technically there's like 26 species concepts, but we shouldn't be speciating and comparing how to speciate scrub pythons the way we speciate birds and bugs. And that's sort of, in my opinion, this is merely my opinion, but now I technically have a college degree, so now I can at least have a little bit of it. It's not a PhD, it's not a master's degree, but it is at least a 4-year degree. And I will say that we need to stop just doing this blanket thing where people only go on genetics now. We should use the genetics as a tool, but we should still be, again, like the days of Carl Linnaeus, right? Like, let's do some morphological work. Let's do some geographic, right? I think that's, you shouldn't be like, well, genetically they're this, and that's the slate. Like, you got to play into some things, right? Because there are birds that morphologically look identical, right? Like an eastern meadowlark and a western meadowlark. I've seen them. I can't tell the difference between them visually, but as soon as they call, they literally make different noises. And then genetically, they're the same. So behaviorally, morphologically, and then, what's it called? I guess they're mating systems. And then I'm sure there's a geographic range where they overlap, but they're also split. That's why they're 2 species. Like you said, Rob, Somalia amethystina. Well, this is a brown one restricted south of this mountain range, which, literal Gandalf geographic over here, they shall not pass that. And then you have the northern side where it's like, oh, that one's cream with bars on its neck. And somewhere in the middle on the highlands is a black one. Like, those should be, but the highland one's its own species, but the other 2, nah, fam.
Nah, they're the same. They're the same.
I don't even know scrub pythons that well. But then it's like, except the one from Tannenbar and the one from Ambon and Surim, those are different. I know. Screams internally. I didn't even think I'd
And
be.
sometimes externally.
Can you tell I talked to Stephen Cush a little too much? It's amazing that I know this much about scrub pythons. Honestly.
If you just sit around
man.
people who are talking about it all the time, you will absorb through osmosis the things that they're talking about.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I've absorbed a lot of stuff through all the amount of like just the people that you meet in this hobby. Like it's always like because I go to the Tinley Park show. That's like my whole former hometown show, and I still try and make it. And just catching up with different people each night, and how it's one night you're just listening to modern people, next night you're listening to snake people, next night you're listening to frog people, and you're like, man, I have no desire to keep that stuff, but I now know how to keep it if I so much as wanted to.
Like, I just took a master class on fruit fly cultures. I'm never going to use that, but like,
No. I did dart frogs at the pet shop I used to work at, and the fruit flies turned me off of that. They're cool, but I can't do fruit flies. But this is coming from a guy that breeds his own feeder roaches, so
that's fine. Roaches are fine.
Yeah, roaches are fine. The fruit flies,
dude. Fruit fly cultures was the bane of my existence.
Man, both in when I kept dart frogs at home, and then when I worked at Black Jungle Terrarium Supply, fruit flies. No, just no.
You'll
That's
never
how I
have
would
a drink ever again.
Ever, dude. Ever. I would be like, how much would it cost for me to just buy an adult Dendrobates tinctorius that I can already feed pinhead crickets? Because these fruit flies are driving me nuts, man.
And then the worst would be like when you get the flightless ones, and then you have the one that gets the flying mutation in the colony, and then you just open the cup one day, and after that one's generation is hatched, you get like 30 that. Oh,
and you're like, oh well, I was lied to. Like,
damn you, Mendelian genetics.
Right.
Yeah. Bruh. No.
Yeah, I don't miss that. I don't miss it. Give me a bin of roaches any day.
All day, every day, several bins, stack them high.
Now, I've been doing a mad scientist experiment. I've been keeping a buddy a few years ago, turned me on to the Eublaberus species ivory. It's a really big, like the ivory-headed cockroach. And it's technically not even described by science. Like, it's literally like genus Eublaberus, species ivory. And from what I understand, they live in the same cave area like where superworms are. So, and they just live in like soil. So quite literally, I started with 12 and I didn't feed off any of them for like 3 years. And now I have hundreds, if not close to a few thousand. But they're just in these giant tubs with about like 6 inches of soil and stuff. And I'm also breeding superworms in the same tub as them.
Really?
So you just get like 2 colonies of bugs in the same space, because the roaches and the superworms are constantly moving and aerating the soil, and they don't seem to bother each other. So I just throw food in there, vegetable matter or whatever, and then like my little roach diet that I have, and everything eats it. And so then you just start digging through the soil. You've got superworms of every size. You've got the beetles, which you just got to watch out for, but you don't want to touch them. And then the ivory head roaches, I mean, they get big. They get almost, an inch long. And that's the only way I'm able to afford feeding 8 sailfin dragons, Because, man, if I was feeding those sailfins dubia, oh, man, I'd be going through like 20 a feed. I do have dubia, but I primarily use those for the water dragons. So, oh, man. But they're fun. And, like, there's springtails in the soil. It's just this constant self-cleaning, self-breeding giant tub of roaches and superworms.
Hell yeah. That's right. You've heard it here, folks. You can cohabitate your invertebrates too.
Yeah. Maybe I'm mad doing that, but it works. It works really well. I love it.
Hey man, work smarter, not harder. I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. So as you've got all these baby sailfin dragons now, what are some behavioral differences that you're noticing between baby and adult animals if
Babies
any.
are nut jobs.
Well, besides the obvious one.
Yeah. No, the babies are pretty shy. It's weird. So I mean, maybe I've been spoiled on captive bred water dragon. You know, a week after those hatch, and I mean, maybe this makes you sound cruel. I let them absorb their yolks for a week, and then I offer food. And baby sailfins will not eat in front of me. Water dragons, you put a tray of microworms in front of them, bam, they're like piranhas on it. And these are F1 water dragons, but these multi-generational Philippine sailfins, they are shy, and so they will not eat in front of me. And I got to be really careful when I'm, servicing the tubs. The way I made it is the lip is like modified, so I can just lift up like the front of it. It sounds crazy. I just put like Gorilla Tape and I cut it, so that way I don't have to take the whole lid off of the tub when I access it. So I can just slide my hand in there, because otherwise they're going to run around like crazy. So the idea is being really quick, not even look at them, and I come back, the food's gone. And I've got a couple adults that are like that won't eat in front of me. The Bion female I mentioned, she's a nutcase. If I so much as look at her the wrong way, she's going to run up the wall and freak out. So it's sort of the same thing, just in and out. But honestly, like when a sailfin, at least in my experience, they just get caught. I mean, my experiences in the past 3 years now, right? I got my first, juveniles in 2023 and raised them up, and those are some of the moms. This last year's hatch, and hopefully this year's future hatches, fingers crossed. But I don't really handle them. They are pretty flighty, but it's honestly just once they get some size on them, it seems like they'll tongue feed. I can put a bowl of food down and they'll run down. If I go to pick them up, they freak out. But if you just leave them alone, I can get within, like, sometimes just touch their faces and whatnot. They just don't really like being handled, which is a lot of people have said that. Scott, my mentor in sailfins, has told me that, you kind of just let them do their thing and you don't bother them. You can mess with them once in a while, take them out, get some good photos. But for the most part, leave them alone, let them get used to you. And as soon as you can get them tongue feeding, which for me is a big thing of trying to control the cycles, and then from there, they're pretty chill. I mean, these are the Philippines too. I am raising up one Microlophus sailfin, and then I've got a pair of subadult Celebensis, and they actually behave differently because those are wild caught. But they are so much calmer than some of the multi-generational Philippine sailfins. So I don't know why that is. I have some ideas. I talked about it with some friends, but the two species from Sulawesi just seem, the big gentle giants. And of course, the stunning gold and purple and blue ones are the ones that are just nutcases. So if I ever get to the point of breeding some of the other species, I'm going to be very curious to see if, are juvenile Microlophus more confident than juvenile Postulatus, or versus Celebensis, Ambonensis, or Weberi, and any of the undescribed ones. In my opinion, they're probably still lumped into Ambonensis, but I don't really believe the sailfins from Waigeo are the same as the ones from Ambon and Serene. So if those could ever get into the hobby, I would love to work with those. And they look bigger than Ambonensis, so we'll see. That's the problem with sailfins. They also, they need pretty good size enclosure. My reptile room is just 3 big aisles of grow tents and PVC. So it's like, that's why I can only have so many adults, and that's how it is.
Right.
But yeah, I'd say, they're cool though. Yeah, especially behaviorally. Some of the babies, once they get older, so they won't eat in front of me, but I've had quite a few where when I start putting my hand, I call it like a baby nursery. That's what I call my little setups like that. It's the nurseries. They won't run away. So I'd be curious to see. I remember seeing like Kevin's old YouTube videos on socializing monitors, which, full disclosure, does not work on baby Hydrosaurus. Do not try and stick your hand in front of them when they're little. They will run, or worse, crawl up your arm and then fly out
right over your shoulder.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. And then you end up looking for them for about 40 minutes. And it's not as easy to move grow tents from behind walls as one may think. So don't try that. I've seen some people. There was I don't know if I should say the name, but there was a YouTube video of somebody claiming to socialize sailfins, and they were like hosing them with cold water, and like it looked tame, but you can see it's just breathing super fast. I was like, that animal just looks stressed and like traumatized. So I don't think that was taming a lizard. So, you know, for me, I kind of go the slow approach of I'll leave them alone in their setup, and eventually something's going to click. And next thing you know, they're tongue feeding or they're not running away from you if you're staring them the wrong way. But at least the feedback I've gotten from the handful of people that bought babies from me last year, they have said that you know, the what's it called? The babies don't tongue feed yet, but they're also not running away. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's kind of
Incremental
the
steps.
same approach that I did with tokay geckos. Is that when I got them in, I was like, okay, y'all are just gonna hide the entire time, and then I'll feed you crickets and roaches and stuff, and then eventually I'm just gonna cut it off for a week or two, and then I'm gonna put stuff on tongs, and you're gonna come to me to get the food, and then after doing that for a few weeks, I can get them to the point where they'll like come out for the food as soon as I open up the enclosure, and this is when I was in Maine, but eventually I got them to the point where like I could open up the enclosure, put my arm out with the tongs with a roach, and they'll jump out onto my arm to get the roach and sit there and chew it and chomp it on my arm and then hop back into the enclosure. It takes a lot of patience, but it is possible.
I'll have to try maybe some fasting then, see if that does anything. Because I'm always worried with the babies, you know, especially if you're selling stuff to customers, you want them to be robust. But I feel like if I had some, I mean, I haven't had stuff crazy long. I think like the oldest that I've had to sit on some baby was maybe 2 months. But I'd be curious, like if I had some that sat for like 3 months or something where they got some size, and I was like, I'm not going to feed you for a week, and then I try feed on tongs. I wonder if that could motivate them. It's worked well with the Celebensis. Like I said, those Sulawesi black sailbens. The problem is now they're so confident that every time I open the enclosure, they think they're getting fed or they know that I provide food. And so as soon as that door opens, they both jump out. And it's every time. And, you know, when they were smaller, like 18 inches, they picked up on it quick. And it was cute. But now that they're almost 3 feet, it's terrifying to have this giant lizard dive bomb straight for your face. Like, because, you know, all my enclosures for the most part are on like stands or tables. So that way they can be above my head. And I did that because I wanted them to feel secure. But now that they're so confident, you open that enclosure. I mean, I'm pretty tall. I'm about 6 feet. And so, you know, their highest perch is 2 feet above my head. And when those lizards come barreling down on me, it's terrifying. It's like, thank God they're not, you know, I mean, man, bad respect to the people that keep like, you know, the croc monitors or Yuana or Dorianis. It's like the sailfins, I know they're pretty calm, but man, if you had a lizard, even like a small one that size barreling down on you, I know
the mouth wide open trying to bite something. Yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah, one of my when I was out of town, it was actually for Daytona. One of my caretakers had a green shirt on, and so they said the Celebensis jumped out and kept trying to eat their shirt.
Oh.
So this 3-foot lizard, you know, this is like their second time caring for my collection, and what a great impression is this giant friendly lizard. I said these guys are pretty chill; they'll just try and hop out. And, you know, that lizard comes barreling down and starts trying to, you know, grabbing their shirt and chew it. Like, oh, gosh, there goes another employee. So there goes.
And then that's going to be, that's the inception of the story. This is Sailfin Dragons tried to eat me.
Yep. Yeah. Somebody, I'm going to get the freaking, you know, the next, whoever ends up being next in line to care for my collection when I'm out of town. I'm like, why don't you have 3 job openings in the past 14 days? So, well, great thing you asked that.
Don't wear green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a strict set of rules that are going to be posted on the door of the lizard room. It's like, are you wearing green? You know, like one of those like little charts. Yes. If you answered yes, go back and change.
Go back, change. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have shine? Yeah. They freaking. I guess like what's it called? I had one friend, they had a ring on. They saw the shiny ring and they tried to eat that. I'm like, what on earth makes them want to eat a piece of that? I mean, it's those dang Celebensis. They are too confident for their own good. So maybe that will be an interest. Maybe the babies will just be super calm, which would be great. But yeah, they're gentle giants, that's for sure. So cool. that's the thing. It's like, and that's just, again, with the 5 currently recognized species, the behaviors. I mean, and the growth rates are pretty incredible. I've got a 1.5-year-old Postulatus from Scott, and yet a Microlophus Sailfin. I actually picked it up at last March Tinley. I've technically had her, it's February, so 11 months, and she's the size of the 1.5-year-old Philippine. She fit in a 9-inch deli cup in March, and now she's 31 inches long.
Yeah,
so yeah, she's gonna be a big one, I think. But yeah, it's cool. Just seeing the different growth rates. Yeah. Dinosaurs are awesome. I wish they were more popular, because even though that sounds like a crazy growth rate, I mean, the big male Philippine that bred last year, he was only about 42 inches, and they're mostly tail. Like I think it's respectfully a pretty manageable lizard. It's not like some of I guess I know people are starting to focus more on like some of the dwarf water monitor localities and whatnot too, but like for some of the other larger semi-aquatic stuff, I mean, they're smaller than most of your Indicus monitors to my knowledge, so it's not like they're just mostly tail, if that makes sense. So I'm surprised they're just not as popular, but I mean, monitors have always sort of been seen as the pinnacle, and maybe weird nerds like just the Hydrosaurus kids playing, like Pokemon in the corner while everybody was playing kickball at recess.
I don't know. I see a lot of people that are really into them. I think that just like in general, the availability over the last 20 years has not always been there for them, especially like it's mostly wild caught ones. A lot of the ones you see at expos that are wild caught are dehydrated as hell and not doing too hot. And then it's like mostly the Webbers that is available, and a lot of people are not too keen on getting them. They're looking for something a little bit more like colorful or whatever, and I think that plays a major role, because anyone who I've talked to about Sailfin Dragons are like, oh man, those things are so cool, I would totally love to get one of those, and they're just like, I have not seen one for sale. I think that for the last up until very recently, up until you were doing things, and there's been like one other person that's like regularly breeding them at any one point in time. So people have not really had the access to them, as opposed to even the water dragons or any of the other small to medium sized lizards that people keep as pets.
Yeah. And I mean, it just sort of surprised me. And I like I said, I mean, I very well could have gotten lucky, and then this year is going to be my real eye opener as to why people maybe have challenges breeding. I hope not, because I mean, this new male, I don't want to jinx anything, but his bloodline, in my opinion, is pretty important. And so I'd really like to have those passed on. And especially again with the Philippine stuff, like you were saying, Sailfins haven't always been bred very often, but a handful of times, my mentor Scott, he proved that they could hybridize, and he was very transparent about, here's when I'm making hybrids, here's why I'm making hybrids, and that was back in Rob, I know you and I agree on hybrids. I know I'm sorry, don't stab me again like you did last time.
Okay, I told you it was gonna get you get back.
It's the niche Cush's Corner reference there, featured on Reptile Talk. But the what's it called? There are some people that genuinely just don't know what they're looking at, and then they sell hybrids as pure. And that's, like I said, with the Philippines, that was often one of the most targeted hybrids, just because they're like, what can I put purple into? And it doesn't work like that. So having, I said, sort of a big group of Philippines, and that's, Scott had told me that would have been the smart way to start out with, since they're arguably the hardest to get, but oddly enough, the most readily captive bred, just because, like you were saying, Rob, the Indonesian stuff comes in wild caught. So you either get people that breed them, or they're just captive hatching stuff. And then, in the case of the Philippines, trying to put this group together over the past few years, and got the first half of the rewards with the John Steele line male, courtesy of my friend Kristen. But this new male, again, I don't want to jinx anything, but I would pray on every freaking ounce that I have to the Sailfin gods that he proves out.
It's gonna happen.
It's
gonna happen.
So, I hope so. Yeah, his blood. If I paired him a while back with the Bion female, but they were being really shy. So like the last male, he was really confident, and I would see him lock up. And that made like timing reproductive events perfect. I was like, copulation, 29 days, eggs, feed 10 days, instant copulation. You know, I see like it was mathematical at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he is younger and he's shyer and he hates me. So it's kind of like I'm throwing him in with the female when I think she's cycling again. And I just have to hope they're locking while I'm at work. So I think the real test of time is going to be when I see eggs. They're either going to be good or they're going to be bad. And I know that these have to be his eggs because the Bion girl did lay a clutch earlier this year and they were all infertile. And so earlier, I guess, January. Shoot, it's February. But she, I know, it's like, wow, earlier this year felt so long ago. So I know that she hasn't retained it. I know she hasn't retained any sperm from last year, which is something that a lot of the agamid lizards do. And I mean, I had some girls where they only locked once and 4 clutches. They were still having, that one girl copulated that gave me 6 clutches last year. I paired her at the start, and her first 4 clutches after that copulation had 100% fertility. And I wanted her to stop because I was like, man, this seems like a lot of clutches. I really don't want you breeding. But then she swelled up again, and I said, screw it. If you're gonna lay eggs, you might as well lay good eggs. And so then I threw her back in, and sure enough, she head down, tail up, and they got it done. And I was like, well, that answers it. So yeah, but really cool to see that, because even like I had asked some of my mentors on that, like, dude, you're lucky if you catch them copulate. So it's weird. I have like more notes and photos on my phone of sailfins getting it on than I've had water dragons in the past 8 years. Just water dragons. I have not had luck catching them when they copulate. I have to solely rely on the body morphology of my females. I'm like, okay, your crest is torn, so clearly the male got to you, and then just watching where they're swelling. And as soon as you see the hips shrink in, that's usually a sign they've ovulated with water dragons. And then you've got literally 21 days, and it's bam, eggs down. Or, sometimes a little bit less if you miss it. But it's, the sailfins has been, like I said, I'm very granular with the way, like, I try to take notes and really pay attention to their body morphology. But I said I have to remind myself this is year 1, and I'm slowly succumbing to my generation's curse of wanting instant gratification. It's like, no, we need to do this. I need to do this for 5 years and then recognize a pattern. So
yeah, but the fact that you're a person that pays attention in general, I mean, because you might find the notes that you're taking now are consistent over the next 5 years, or you might find minute differences, that you're like, okay, well, that was just the one-off kind of thing. But that kind of stuff, whether a pattern develops or not, is still valuable, especially when it's a species that documentation of this is almost unheard of.
Non-existent,
So it's every little bit of information helps, anecdotal or otherwise, just to try to put a full organized thought together on the whole process.
Yeah, I'm operating at about 20% brain capacity, and I'm very much hoping I can get to 100% by the time all of this is said and done. Or I'm just going to be driven mad by these lizards, and that would explain why nobody's really tried to work with them long. Scott Corning, he's got me beat there. He actually, when I visited his place for the first time and then the second time, he has got a sailfin from one of the Dallas Zoo's original breedings in '92. So I want to say she's in her 30s now. Yeah, that the fact that lizard's parents copulated before mine did is insane.
Ah!
Oh
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh boy! Clip that.
That the first time Rob's ever passed out on Reptile Talk?
It might be.
Bro.
Oh, that's hilarious,
wow.
dude.
Oh. Oh no.
Yeah. Just let that sink in.
Oh.
It's sank. It's still sinking.
Yes. It is still sinking. Oh my god.
Ah, that's great. That's great. Meanwhile, I'm over here as you're talking about the history of sailfins, and you're like, back in 92 or 89 or whatever. I'm like, this is the date range that I was born, and you're over here talking about like it's fucking ancient. Like,
I know. I'm too young for my own. I said this is why. I said my one friend, he's into the book business. He's like, we need like a complete Hydrosaurus, but
I agree. I agree.
I just feel like it's one of those where, again, I got to see all of them in the wild. I want to breed all of them. And then ideally, all the notes I've accumulated from that can be organized into a big book. Like 500 pages, like the taxonomic history, captive breeding, care, captive history, everything. Just so it's like the one style, And then knowing my luck, after that would be published, some scientist is going to redo the taxonomy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when you release the one extra page that just says, the hell with that guy.
Oh my gosh.
Please tape to the back of your book.
Yeah.
Please tape at the last page of your book, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll get a reprint with a bonus epilogue.
Yeah.
The frustrations of a concerned herpetoculturist.
Right.
Yeah.
That should go in every single book that's published on reptiles.
Okay. The pre-forward.
Yeah.
Listen, in 20 years, some guy's going to change the taxonomy of this, and guess what? Nobody cares.
Yeah. Except for the people in Facebook groups.
Yeah. Let the record show that this book stands purely on the morphological species concept. In those who choose to follow the genetic BS that is being used after this.
Oh man, that just makes me think about conversation I had with Brian Barczyk back in the day. We were talking about Stimson's and
the Antaresia.
Get lumped, and he was like, man, I wanted Stimson pythons my entire life. I finally get them, and then they get lumped in with children. What is this all about, man? And then we're like, hey, have you ever met a taxonomist? Like, where are they hiding at? We've got some things to discuss.
I can confirm they exist. I did technically study under one, and he was a great professor, and he did some amazing. Especially, he was on the original. Like, I don't know how into like rattlesnakes you guys are, but like, he was on the expedition where they collected the original like the holotype for Crotalus erichsmithi. Yeah. So he's described some cool snakes and has a lot of great stories. So the taxonomists do exist. But it's a part of jokes aside, it is unfortunately something that definitely hurts me a little bit, is sort of that divide between like true herpetology and us nerds that keep stuff in boxes. And that's I said, especially, if I dive into the history, I've got a book on my shelf from 1915 with some of the original descriptions of the sailfins in there, and a bunch of the Agamids, Hypsilurus, Gonocephalus, Olophosaurus. It's like, those were people that, like, they really liked lizards, but it was almost like liking lizards for the lizards. And while, I'm sure you like snakes for the snakes, it's like, it's just interesting how, like, our preferences are, I love these giant, I guess not giant, but, big sailfin lizards for how they look, what they are. But it's almost like my foundation was working with them in captivity because it's not feasible for people to see stuff in the wild. Rob, how easy is it to fly to PNG and look at scrub pythons? Or Jeremy, how easy is it to fly to Australia and look at carpets? Or South America for Amazon tree bows? It's
that
not
one's
always
easier.
Amazon's is attainable.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to the point, yes.
Yeah. It's. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was one of the main arguments in the Barker book too. The Invisible Ark is that captivity allows people to empathize with nature, because for a lot of people that's the only access they have to it.
Yep.
And it's almost weird. So, to some extent, I mean, I'm not a reptile keeping philosopher by any means, right? I mean, I've read a lot of books in my free time, and just sort of on this, or listen to people who, for good reason, they've accomplished way more than me in the hobby, and they're far older than me. They've seen the changes, and it's sort of like it seems that the hobby is growing, which is good, and it's almost like those original words that Dave and Tracy had written are coming to fruition because the world's getting more urbanized. People are outside less. That's a reality. I mean, I was thinking about it a while back. I was flying home to see my parents, and I was just standing in the airport, right at the gate, and I looked around, and I could not find somebody that was not me. Like, everybody was staring at their phone. Nobody was just talking to each other. And in a way, it's like connecting people, but it's also sort of like that's the only way people get their information, or their sources and whatnot. Some of those people are not going to fly to South America to see an Amazon tree grow in the wild if they keep them. And yeah, it's like the hobby's grown, but it's like that idea of it grew because of access to animals in captivity, which is, like I said, sort of the main defense for captivity of Dave and Tracy's book. So I don't know. I guess that one, I was going on a bit of a tangent there, but
no, but it's true, dude. I think about that actually fairly often when I do travel, whether it be for animal related stuff or music related stuff. I'm like, I know people back in my hometown that they've never left that town or that little area, let alone, okay, maybe I went from Massachusetts to Connecticut because it's 30 minutes away, but outside of that, like I'm not going anywhere significant like that. I think about that kind of stuff often because when you're in those spaces, it's like, wow, there's a lot of people in here, but in the grand scheme of things, it's actually not a lot of people, that are having that experience. So it's definitely an interesting take on things for sure. And we also have the life of a whole generation of folks that just went through COVID that, they're already brought up on this, and now they just had a major element of their life that was this, a Zoom call, basically, so like forging people skills in some of those formidable years is not a significant skill set, so that will definitely change the landscape of things, as time kind of goes on, for sure. So yeah, it's definitely an interesting topic to think about as we look at literally natural history and things of the world, like experiencing other elements of the world besides the technological box that we all stare at every day.
That box is now part of that, the progression of the Anthropocene era. It's like, where are we going to go from here? Right. Like we literally, we grew up having to be social, and just a few years showed us how quickly we could adapt to being unsocial. And now, like, guys, COVID was like 6 years ago, and we're still talking about it. And people are like, I mean, this isn't even reptile related to it, but at the same time, like the premise of it, like reptile shows changed, and I mean, because like Tinley got shut down, and and then online sales went through the roof, and it was almost like you don't need to go to a reptile show to buy an animal because it was Morph Market, right? Buy. The Amazon effect in the hobby, and now it's like people. I've never personally like vended a show. I guess I've vended a show for like previous businesses I've worked for, but all of my sales have always been online. Hey, here's a YouTube video. Here's my email. I'll get you a lizard scent. Done.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's, and yet, nowadays, like you go to a show and you can buy stuff there. Then people complain about shows sometimes. Like all it is a petting zoo, and I think, while I get it, that's not the best for business. Arguably, that's really crucial for the up and coming generation, so they don't end up like some of the people who have no people skills. Like, hey, tell that breeder, okay, I get it. Obviously, there's biosecurity things, but if you just give that kid a ball python, like for all is you just sparked the next Steve Irwin, right? Like I used to teach reptile
Right.
educational shows for the Herpetology Society I was a part of in college. And I was just ice fishing with my buddy last weekend, and he was one of the co-educators. We talked about that all the time. Like, yeah, you had a lot of long days and had kids, but it's like, think about how many people who just were there to see the animals and hopefully gain more appreciation of it. And I think maybe that's something. I mean, that was me. That I was the kid that wanted to see everything at the zoo, or check stuff out at reptile shows. I mean, most of the reptile shows I went to when I was a kid in the Chicagoland area weren't even buy and sell shows; they were strictly educational. And if like reptile shows, I don't know, we put maybe if people put more emphasis on like using reptile shows as a form of advertising, but also using that advertising for outreach. Just because you don't have good sales the first time doesn't mean you're going to make an impact when somebody comes in and buys from you. I mean, that's I'm not a business person. I'm a terrible salesperson. I've turned down a lot of people wanting to buy water dives. I'm like, hey, let's talk about care first. Wait a year, see if you're really committed, and then buy one from me. Usually they do. But it's, again, it's sort of this, like you said, a byproduct of COVID. I don't really need to talk to the person. I see what I want. I click it. I buy it. And then, that's what we got. Yeah, I got used to it. Like I said, I feel like it's going to be weird if I'm at a reptile show personally, since I've never vended for myself. And I have to sit there for 5 minutes to talk with somebody who's interested, as opposed to, here's the info, here's how you pay me, because generally I do not have that experience. And yeah, it's a changing world. And I won't lie, it is scary, especially for me. There's so much uncertainty. But I don't know, I guess maybe even talking about on this platform makes me feel a little bit better. Some of these ideas you guys have brought up. And I guess we'll see where the world takes us in this hobby. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that rant made no sense at all. I don't know. I'm just
no, dude. I think it made a lot of sense. The post-COVID landscape of the hobby, the industry has changed a lot. We've seen basically like a conglomerate takeover of how the sales landscape of this industry kind of works, and that's forced some people to go in different directions and change how they operate and do business, and to the point of utilizing shows as more of an advertising space and an access point for people to actually just get that first hands-on moment or exposure. Like, I tell that to people all the time out here, when they're like, oh, I want to vend my first show, it's like, hey, awesome. It might suck. Like sales wise. Yeah. Like it might really suck, but it's, if you're operating as a legitimate business, something as simple as a sole proprietorship, it all becomes a write-off financially, and it just goes under advertising expenses, your cost for tables, your cost for displays or tablecloths or whatever. It all goes under advertising expense. So it's all something that can still be beneficial for you. Yes, sales are what make the world go round, and that's what we're trying to do in those spaces. But fundamentally, if I can have an impact on some person that at that show doesn't buy something, but at the next one does, and I make sure that they have a great experience every time they come to my booth, they're going to become a return customer if they want another snake, and that's far more valuable, especially in today's world where it's like, there's even more, I guess, personal value put on customer service, the customer service experience. Like if I'm getting something, like I want to make sure that this is going to be the best. And if it's not, then I'm going to friggin' lose my mind online on social media, so it's also like, I want to make sure that my customers are happy, not out of fear, but out of genuine, like, I remember my first snake being a corn snake that I got from the local pet shop, and it did not thrive. I got it. It was sick. I had no idea, but finally getting to have an experience where somebody who was knowledgeable could actually have a conversation with me and kind of give me those first few guiding steps was game changing. So as reptile, and that was 20 something years ago. So as reptile keeping and reptile shows have become more the forefront, of how we can access certain things. It's like, no, it's actually really valuable. That's really valuable time spent with people. So yeah, I agree. Tangent validated, my friend. Like,
Yeah, I worry I suck at wording things sometimes, but I mean, that's what I always tell people when they buy a lizard from me I literally had someone 2 weeks ago. I checked the message history. The last time they messaged me was 2022, and they had bought a lizard for me in 2020. They're just sending me a 6-year update of a lizard I hatched. And they're like, hey, just want you to know it's doing great. I'm like, hey, thanks for reaching out. And that's what I tell people. It's like, I almost hate the word customer, because these days it seems like customer is, oh, you're an Amazon customer. Like, they don't know who you are. I always tell people, it's like, you're my clients now. I'm going to assume no news is great news. And if you message me 4 years from now, I have an entire spreadsheet that shows the ID or IDs of the lizard you purchased from me, when you purchased it, when I shipped it, and who you are. So that way, if you're like, hey, do you remember the parents from 5 years ago? Why, yes, I do. Like, it's, how's your lizard doing? Here's the lineage info. It's, I hope you're doing well. Like, you are a person and you're talking to a person, not a sales associate online.
Yeah.
That's
not a little chat icon box in the bottom right hand of your screen.
Yeah. And
pings you at 2:00 in the morning every day.
It's the little old Microsoft Office paperclip. Oof. Remember all those historical things that you were saying? Yeah, I was alive for those things.
Yeah, I have to be reminded once again how young I am. It's okay. You may have bred sailfins, but you're still in your 20s.
I wish I did cool stuff in my 20s.
Oh man, I love it, dude. I love it.
Yeah.
But hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where this year takes you on the journey, and hopefully everything is positive. And if there's anything not positive, the learning experience helps drive everything in a more positive direction moving forward. So definitely best of luck for all of that. I can't wait to see updates and stuff for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hopefully some big things to come later this year. So keep your fingers crossed for me.
Hell yeah.
And
dude.
your toes, Rob.
Wink, wink, honk. You already know.
Yeah. Man. All right. Well, as we round this out, you know the drill, dude. We've got to ask you the wrap-up question. What in the world, in the realm of reptiles, has you excited about reptiles right now?
Yep. Honestly, man, this might sound cheesy. I just like seeing people having fun again. And what I mean by that is, so like I feel like in college I took a step back from the reptile social media scene, because it's suddenly, and I get it, like I'm a hypocrite saying this, because like I did make my lizards an official LLC, right? Because I wanted to sort of manage that extra income coming with breeding, as opposed to doing it as a hobby, as it's grown. But it's sort of the post the COVID, and even a few years after 2020, just it was all about, what are you investing in? Like, oh, this is my next investment breeding project. And I don't know, for me, like I still have my first snakes that I've had since I was 11, right? Like, it's and all of my mentors had always told me, keep what you love.
Yes.
And I guess it's like, okay, yeah, I just said I have this now as an official business, but I still work 9 to 5, because at the end of the day, like, it's supposed to be a hobby. Let's just have fun. Let's remember why we love this. It's when the market's crashing, like, if you're worried about the market crashing, do you really love your snakes? Like, that's, again, for Jeremy, John Dragna, Johnny Sims, right? Like, he had told me I want to say it was a Tinley show. He's like, if you have a career, you can afford to lose money on your animals because you don't want to lose your animals. Like that's sort of what I like, is I just like seeing that. You know, not that I'm a marketing guy or anything, or I'm probably like the worst person to talk about reptile business to, anyways. But just the idea that people are starting to maybe get the idea that we can still make a little bit of money, and just do it with what you love. And that's why I think we're seeing all the species diversity now. Is the whole investment stalker snake bro whatever that trend is fading. And don't get me wrong, like I've got friends who keep ball pythons and they're super passionate about, like, and I used to breed ball pythons for the pet store I worked at. And you know what? All I was doing was like pied stuff, like pastel pieds, and I thought it was cool. Yeah. It's fun. It's not this, you know, 5-6 gene I don't know that stuff. I knew like the basics, but I had fun with it because it was making a cool pet. Like one of my friends from college bought a ball python I hatched out at my old job, and he's 4 years old, just a normal pied, but it's like, it's fun. It's a pet that they hold, they watch TV. Like, let's just get back to that again. It's the reptile hobby, because it seemed like when we tried to make it the reptile industry, people didn't have fun anymore. So that's what I'm excited about.
You hear that, ball python bros?
Hey, if you like ball python, I mean, hey, they're cool snakes. They're very cool snakes. Like, I just, I mean, I'm all very partial to colubrids myself, and lizards, obviously. But, you know, I like just have fun. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm 25 years old and I'm young, and my opinion doesn't mean squat, right? So that's what I'll say. I think that's the only reason why I keep doing it. It's just because it's like I have fun with it, and everybody should have fun with
it. 100%, dude. That's fundamentally that's what's most important. And doing anything like this into the business realm, like, you're going to be more excited about the stuff that you enjoy, so you can make that passion really known to other people, who will then get excited about what you're excited about and start to do their own research and figure those things out and be like, oh wait, man, that's really cool. Like, you know, and fact of the matter is, especially when it comes to ball python land, it's shaped like a really interesting triangle, you know, kind of like those things in Egypt.
A trapezoid? No.
Yes. Yeah.
Wait, no.
But no, it's like, you know, there's different tiers to that, and chances are, if you're investing in something that's 10 grand or less, what you don't know is that everybody who spent the money on it when it was 10 grand or more has a whole playground and plethora of what you now just dropped between 5 and 10 grand on. And by the time you get anywhere with it, you're already behind. And, you know, so the value there is, if you're going to make that kind of investment, how do you parallel it? How do you plug it into something that you really enjoy genetically? That makes it make sense. Otherwise, you're running on a hamster wheel, and nobody likes that, not even the hamster. So let's but it does go back to that. Work with what you enjoy. And like Rob and I have talked about it on other podcasts, like, we're seeing that resurgence happen more and more, where people are really just working with those passion projects. And it's inevitable. The more that it's in people's face, the more they're going to want to learn about it and understand it more. Like, people like ball pythons so much because for the vast majority of social mediaville, that's what's been publicized. You know, $50,000 snake plastered on a thumbnail. You know, like that's that's gonna get all these views. That's right. You know, and that was in a heated moment of hatred. And
there were so many ball pythons.
Way too many ball pythons. But you know, that's what people see. I should redo that and be like, Amazons. But then I'll bleed a lot if I have all those Amazons out on the table.
That is the type of viral clip that would go absolutely bonkers.
Do you think, like, if you're able to, like, truly prioritize, like, your Amazon customers and they're getting overnight shipping, like, could you technically have, like, your own brand of Amazon Prime?
Up.
Oh.
Jeremy, don't get sued. Don't get sued. The Twitter idiot has too much money.
Yeah, okay. I've got to find some adjacent version of that. Corrales Capital or something, you know?
Yes. Convenient Corrales.
Hey,
Buy now, shipped overnight.
Or we make it Irish and remove the H from Horchulana and just put a little apostrophe and then overnight Horchulana, you know?
Horchulana. Overnight Horchulana.
You sent me that video. You just Kropani your pants, okay? Just like Corrales, Kropani your fucking pants. Okay, I think it's too late. I think that we've gone too far.
we're done now. We're calling it.
Rob, I was drawing it at the crossing your toes, but I mean, yeah, that's up to you.
Oh, we're always going to take it to the next level. Oh gosh, dude, Alex, thank you so much for coming on and hanging with us, dude. Again, we're super stoked for you, man.
I appreciate.
We have to bring you back on to do field herping and arachnids.
Yeah, also the unforeseen eventual Alex's arachnids, right?
The secret life of Alex.
The secret, yeah. You know, the invertebrate side of my vertebrate hobby.
Hey.
So, yeah, I appreciate it, guys. This was a good episode, and maybe I went a little off the rails, but it's great chat.
That was perfect.
It's perfect. Yeah, absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Cool. All right, that wraps this up. We will see you next time. And oh, wait, I forgot one thing. Alex, you got to tell the people where to follow you, man. Where do people find you? Yeah,
on the interwebs. The interwebs. Yeah. Well, just if you look at my name, Alex Myers. For Alex's actually, I think Alex Myers is a different like YouTuber. But like, if you just look up Alex's Agamids, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Morph Market, Fauna Classifieds, and Kings. Actually, no, I haven't updated my King Snake account. I need to update it. My King Snake username, I used my video game username was like the Snake Dude or Snake Dude. So if you actually go on to kingsnake.com forums, I think the last post in the Water Dragon and Basilisk forum and other miscellaneous lizards was actually from me. It's from like 2 years ago.
Damn.
So,
dang.
yeah, I was just posting on there because I was trying to wave the white flag of like who has pure Philippine sailfins. So I posted on King Snake and Fauna, and I did get a couple of emails from people out of that actually. So it still might be like Snake Dude or something on there, but I need to update my King Snakes. But Alex's Agamids, my YouTube channel has got like a bunch of, I'm not a professional YouTuber, but like every time I get eggs, I just take my phone, I film me digging them up so people can see how stuff's nested. And when hatchlings hatch, I film them hatching. And then I try to post some like nicer photos and content on Instagram and Facebook. And then, yeah, if you want to buy a lizard, my email is on Morph Market. It's on all there. You shoot me a message on there. Usually I respond by the end of the day. I do work long hours. So for those listening, like, don't be surprised if there's like an 8-hour window of no reply. And then like sometimes either really early in the morning or later at night is when I get to it. But I do my best to respond to every message or email I get by the end of the day. So thank you to everybody who's been supporting my work. And if you want to follow me on there, check me out there.
Hell
yeah. Sweet. Dude, thank you again so much, man. We will,
thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have you back.
Sounds good.
Sweet.